If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 5, Episode 7, Red Paint. Kelly is kissing Lucius and laughing and touching on him like it's normal. Carl says, "Okay, I think that's my cue to leave." Lucian says loudly, "This is not a cue." Carl and Lucian was looking awkward. Kelly was just cheesing. Carl said, "Okay, I think I'm going to walk away now." Awkward. Lucian said, "Nothing is awkward." Kelly said, "Thank you," in a cheesy voice. "Can I go now?" She invited Carl to dinner. He accepted. And then she started trying to kiss Lucian again. And he blocked her. And he said, "What was that?" She played dumb. He said, "That kiss." She said, "Oh, I was just happy." He said, "You know Natalie is the only woman for me." She said, "No, I'm sorry. You took it the wrong way." Lucian said, "Well, never mention this again." As Lucian was saying, "Never mention this again," Eddie came around the corner filming with his cell phone. Kelly was just saying, "I wasn't trying to make a pass at you." And Eddie said, "You sure about that?" And continued to film. Lucian said if Eddie didn't give him that cell phone, he was going to take it. And as Lucius was walking up to Eddie, Eddie put the phone in his pants and said, "You go down there and grab it in all that manhood, Luke." Lucian said, "You must have forgot I shot you." Eddie said, "No, I didn't forget. That's more of a reason to get back at you." Kelly told Eddie she was going home, like she was rubbing it in his face. He said, "How did that happen?" Kelly said, "Wouldn't you like to know? What the devil meant for evil, God turned it around and made it good." And she and Lucian walked away. Eddie got on the phone and called his buddy, Armani, I think was his name, and left a message for him to hit him back. He has a little video. He told him he had a little video he needs him to edit. When Eddie got off the phone, Larry walked up to him and told him, "I want the money you took from me." Eddie was playing dumb. Larry said, "You told me there were no more copies." Eddie said, "No, I didn't." Larry said, "I expect you to reimburse me by the end of the week." Eddie said, "Keep dreaming, because that ain't going to happen." Larry said, "It's your funeral." Eddie said, "Then make it a 21 gun salute. Call your people." Larry said, "Duly noted," and got on the phone and called someone and said, "Come to my office. I got a $50,000 issue." Eddie said, "Hold your breath about that 50 grand. I don't know his name, so I'm just going to call him the fireman." The fireman and his wife were sitting on the couch, and Randall came to the garbage can to throw something away. The wife asked her husband, "Why does he keep throwing things out?" The husband said, "I don't know, but he does know. He went over there and vandalized Randall's house because he was messing with his wife. He was, over there teasing her, harassing her. So he went over there and messed up and wrote on Randall's wall a few episodes back. His lunch was finished, so he was on his way back to work. But before he left, he told his wife, "If anybody bothers you, let me know." She agreed and asked him for a quickie. He said, "You know I don't like quickies." As he was on his way to his truck, Randall stopped him and apologized for harassing his wife. "And by the way, did you happen to see anyone go into my house? It was vandalized." The fireman said, "Oh, no, I didn't see anybody." Randall said, "It doesn't bother you that you just moved into this neighborhood and I just told you that my house was vandalized? You don't seem to care." "Oh, no, that's not it at all." "I'm sorry. When do you go to work?" "When I want to." "Why do you ask?" "So I can keep an eye on your house." "I'm here all the time." "Then how did that happen?" "I was out seeing a patient." "You have patients?" "Yeah, I do." "Okay. You know I can really help your wife." "No." "You sure?" "We're good." Randall asked him when do he get back from work. The fireman said, "Mr. Holmes, you don't want to test me." Randall said, "I wasn't trying to test you. Then the fireman said, basically, he said, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Randall said, is that the way a firefighter should talk? Who's a former Marine? Is that right? They stared at each other, and then the firefighter said, well, I'll see you later. And Randall said, yes, you will. As the firefighter was driving off, Randall was standing in the middle of the street watching him drive off. Back at the bar, the bartender Johnny and Alex were sitting at the table. Johnny asked Alex who that guy was. She said, oh, he's just my neighbor. I need another drink. Johnny finally said, through all these episodes that he's been on there, he finally said no and gave her a cup of coffee. She said, that's a mom drink. I'm tired of being a mom. He wouldn't take no for an answer. Esmeralda and Stephen walked in and Johnny left the table. Esmeralda talked Alex into going home and explaining to her kids why she was leaving. The fireman went to the police department to fill out a report on Randall. When he told Officer Rick who he was filling out the report on, Rick said, oh, because they're familiar with Randall. They know him. He said that you aren't the only one that has filled out reports on him. Eddie came up and said he'll handle it. His advice to the fireman was to not fill out a police report and asked him had he ever thought about putting a bullet in Randall's head. The fireman called Eddie sick and walked away. Larry called Carl to his office to find out how he found the evidence for Kelly's case. He started off offering him a job, paying $250,000 a year. When that didn't work, Larry threatened Carl. He said, if you walk out that door, your future in law, there is no future for you in law. Carl walked on out the door. Larry said, another one bites the dust. Randall and the fireman's wife went to the garbage. Randall said, hey. She said, don't talk to me. He said, don't you think it's strange for both of us to be coming into the garbage at the same time? She said, I said, don't talk to me. As she put her garbage in the garbage can and put a spray can on top. He said, okay. When she went in the house, he went to her garbage and took the spray can out. Went back to his house and tested the paint next to the writing that was on his wall. It was a match. He went across the street to confront her. She didn't know anything about it, but she told him her husband was on his way and he better get away from there. My husband has a temper and he doesn't like you. She said, get away from my door or I'm going to scream. Randall taunted her by talking about her family. When she didn't get upset, he kept saying, look who's taking her meds. When Randall didn't leave, she began to scream. Randall finally left, and on his way back across the street, he met up with Natalie. And Natalie said, if you don't stop messing with people, something is going to happen to you. Randall said, you don't scare me, but that breath of yours. And he starts kicking. Natalie picks up a branch off the ground and beat him as he ran into his door. She went across the street to check on the wife. On her way home, she ran into Marcy being nosy. Natalie fussed at Marcy for laying the baby on his stomach. Marcy said she didn't know not to lay the baby on the stomach, but Brad told her everything that happened. Alex walked through the door with Esmeralda and Stephen. She said she was going to get some of her things, and Esmeralda said, and talk to your kids. Brad said she wasn't talking to the kids because she was still drunk. He told her he was taking the house and all the kids. Alex said, perfect. Where do I sign? Alex left and went to Randall's house. And I don't even want to talk about what she did over there. Eddie walked into Natalie's house. She said, what makes you think you have the right to walk into someone's house? Eddie said, I'm white. Natalie, holding a knife, said, you MF. He said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Ain't you never heard of that? It's called white privilege. I do whatever the hell I want. Natalie grabbed her phone and said she was going to call Lucian. Eddie put his phone in her face so she can see the picture of Kelly kissing Lucian, and it went off. This episode was aired 2 weeks since the George Floyd murder and the rioting began. So what Eddie said wasn't as insensitive as it sounded, although it was pretty bad.